By definition, graffiti simply means writing or pictures scratched or inscribed on a surface. Until a few years ago, graffiti was limited primarily to alleys, vacant buildings, and fences. Today, it appears almost everywhere. Not even works of art are spared. Nor is the natural environment immune. Graffiti is everywhere.
Graffiti is sneaky, done when people think nobody is watching. I can't see the fun or honesty in that.
So my name is Hayley Welsh and I'm an artist and illustrator here in Perth.
Hi, my name is Nespoon, I'm from Poland.
Hi, my name is Anya Brock.
I'm James Giddy.
Bueno, mi nombre es Elian, soy de Argentina.
I'm Idle Motions. I've been painting for about 15 years.
My name is Brenton See. I've been painting for about 5 years.
I'm Chris Nixon. I'm an illustrator.
So Form started in the late 60s. We were initially the peak body in Western Australia for craft. And since then, I guess since in the 21st century, it's kind of evolved into a different kind of organisation where we focus a lot more broadly on creativity and different types of artistic practice. We work both here in Perth, but then we also work quite a lot in remote and regional areas as well. Form has been working with urban artists for quite a while, I guess since probably 2011, where we started working with Belgian street artist Roa, and then following from that we had the Living Walls project as well. So I think from those smaller projects we kind of realised that there was a real power to having street art in our communities, and it has the ability to sort of impact the way we live and the way we see our city.
Look, for us, there's an enormous power with street art. It has this ability to really transform laneways, public spaces, areas which perhaps are underappreciated, underutilised, transform them into places for people. And that's the power of street art.
So this Publica of this year's one was this was the first proper festival that I've been involved with in terms of like a public art festival. And I will be involved with Rediscover, which is down in Bunbury next January. And I'd love to do more of this. I mean, most of the time I'm working in sort of single installations that are just by myself, or maybe collaborating with a couple other people. So it was really good to be a part of a program and working on walls while other people were working on walls, and yeah, it was cool. It was a good community.
I suppose it developed from there. And obviously since then we've started to build some really strong partnerships and collaborations with other like-minded organisations and local governments and that type of thing who, like us, want to celebrate street art, but also want to have and generate that conversation behind as well, the dialogue around why it's important to have interesting cities and why it's important to be culturally rich as well in Western Australia.
I've always been active in the local community. I love the Beaufort Street precinct. I got involved there with residents. I founded the Beaufort Street Network, which became a driving force to improve the area. And with that, we also co-founded the Beaufort Street Festival. And I realised from that there was incredible opportunities and power and resources that local government could provide to even realise more great things for the local community.
¿Por qué hago el arte que yo hago? Bueno, es una pregunta un poco compleja. Particularmente yo trabajo con abstracto y la verdad que me interesa porque no tiene un mensaje concreto, no hay algo que puedas ver e identificar. Eso creo que es lo que más me interesa del arte abstracto, sobre todo también porque estamos rodeados de figurativismo, ¿no? Todo representa algo en lo que nos rodea.
There's probably a whole heap of concepts that I have no idea where they came from. They're just kind of inside me. It's kind of collective consciousness or something, like pulling it out of the sky. So.
Well, for myself personally, I did art because I enjoy it, and that's it. When I was younger, I liked bright colours, you know.
Ja malowałam całe życie olejami i na płótnie, więc teraz też maluję, tak? To nie jest tak, że ja zaprzestałam malarstwa, tylko to się zupełnie zmieniło. Teraz maluję inne formy, które są... Raczej chodzi o zmianę mnie jako osoby, bo ja wcześniej malowałam bardzo depresyjne, poważne jakby malarstwo uprawiałam, a dzisiaj przeskoczyłam na świat pozytywnych emocji i pozytywnych motywów, bo jednak te koronki są bardzo, jakby dają takie dobre wibracje, tak?
When I was really young, I was a pretty naughty kid, and we found out that I had ADD. Instead of putting me on medication, my mum decided to find something that kept me entertained enough. So yeah, she got me into art classes, and that was when I was about 8 years old, I think. So I suppose that was the sort of time that I really started getting into it. So David Attenborough is a massive influence on my work. I've been watching his documentaries ever since I was quite young. Animals are what I choose to use. I sort of learn as much as I can about the animals, and then I find animals that sort of represent what I want to say. So I like to use large animals like rhinos, elephants and sharks.
A lot of my work comes from what I'm dealing with at the time, and kind of all the positive messages I try and put in are literally what I'm trying to tell myself as well. So whatever projects I'm dealing with, missing home, wondering whether I'm doing the right thing, a lot of my work comes from that. So when I'm feeling unsure about anything, I paint, and I kind of like figure out what I'm doing by the end of the time I finish my painting. So street art isn't about trying to have everything planned and logistic and run by the books and everything like that. It was about making a mark for the right reasons. And so the reasons for this was like to do something good and make people happy, and then you'll make yourself ultimately happy too.
I actually pull a lot of influence from artists that aren't working in my field, so I like to look towards other mixed media artists and people that sort of cross over between all different streams of artwork and really push themselves across all of that. So I don't even know what you really call that, but I love a lot of photography, I love a lot of chefs, inspired by just different mediums and forms of creativity. I think that sort of fuels what I do. And it just happens to manifest itself a lot in illustration or mural artwork or whatever I'm doing. Yeah.
I was originally born in South Africa, which explains a lot of my African-themed painting. This was the biggest thing. I didn't expect to be part of this for a couple years to come, to be honest. I saw last year's one, which is the first one they ran in Perth, and it was really, really crazy. Like, really inspired me to want to paint big, paint something colourful. So I wasn't really expecting them to contact me, but they did, and I ended up getting multiple walls, which was pretty cool. And then to meet all these international artists as well and work alongside them, hang out with them afterwards, it's great.
Anything that's thrown my way, I'm more than happy to get involved with. More the merrier. I just want to paint. I mean, to make any coin from it, that's a bonus. You know what I mean? I'm happy to die as a poor artist.
I've not had one complaint directly to me in Mayor in my time, or as a councillor, complaining about street art pieces.
The state government is acting quickly to crack down on the explosion of graffiti vandalism across our suburbs.
The family of a Sydney graffiti vandal jailed yesterday says the magistrate has been too harsh.
New laws will be introduced to force graffiti offenders before the courts.
Instances of graffiti, when we apprehend the offenders, are dealt with in the appropriate manner before the court.
But many others believe the 18-year-old got what he deserved.
Pretty harsh, but it's still fair. I think it should be a bit more than that.
We've got to keep paying to clean it off. It should be zero tolerance with everything.
Why graffiti?
Because it's groovy. It's where it's at.
That's not where it's at with me. I see graffiti in my neighborhood all the time, and I don't like it.
Hey, what are you doing there?
Nothing.
That's my wall you're writing on.
I didn't hurt it any.
You're defacing the wall.
Look, man, it's already written on. Why pick on me?
I know you. Now, either I call the police or you clean the whole wall.
I think too much of it, or just for the sake of covering a wall, can be a negative thing. But I think a lot of the time, if you're trying to, make a building more attractive, and there's a deeper level of meaning behind it, then it's even better.
The messages in my work are quite personal, and I don't want to dilute them by these creatures turning up where they're not really needed. So there's got to be a relevance to why they're there.
I'd like for people to just naturally have the interest to find out what's behind the piece instead of just going, oh, that's really nice, and that's it. I think they just look at that and go, oh yeah, that's cool. Apparently graffiti's in, and bright colours are really nice.
It can act as a real sort of social forum for just whatever you want to say, I think. And that's kind of the artist's responsibility, and also whoever's commissioning the work, or if it's legal or illegal. There's all kinds of things that can contribute.
I've certainly seen, particularly over the last 6 months, a huge sort of increase and jump in, business owners and property owners and local governments placing value on having arts in neighbourhoods and communities and their cities.
I think street art, it's so immediate and it's so honest, and it is something you know, the scale of it. I think it just makes people happy, or it just stimulates people.
I definitely feel there is still a ways to go in ensuring the conditions are right for artists in Western Australia to ensure that they're getting paid for their work. I think there's still a slight disconnect between property owners and business owners thinking that it's enough to be able to give the artists the opportunity just to have their work out there, and that they don't necessarily have to pay them. You know, whereas, you know, the artists, this is their profession, this is their whole world. They deserve to be paid like you or I.
We provided some funding, just a small amount of funding, which was matching funding with local businesses. So we said, look, you've got an empty wall, we'll put in 50% of funding, you put in 50% of funding, and let's make it happen. From there, it's just gained this incredible momentum. Obviously, we put more resources in, we're actively seeking walls, but businesses are just coming out of the blue saying, seen what you've done in Leederville, love it, I want it on my wall, and are funding it, not even waiting to make a grant application and just going ahead to do it.
I think people got confused for a long time between graffiti and street art, and now everyone's like, oh, right.
This just happens with art movements all the time. Like, I think street art was this real underground thing that was, you know, born out of, you know, like hip-hop culture, you know, essentially, and then just grew up out of the ground and then became really popular and then commercialised, and then this is kind of where we see it now. And I think you can see those kind of fake forms of it, and sometimes you can see, and that's for other people to judge, but I guess so. It's just another movement. It's another art movement which will not fade away, but I think it will definitely become less popular, and then it will just maybe come back around again in a full cycle.
I think there is nothing bad about having art up everywhere. I think most people would agree that it makes any city more interesting, hence everybody wants to go to Berlin and Melbourne, you know, like, I think there's nothing bad can come of it.
All you are isn't all I know. All I know is more.
As we're seeing around Vincent, people love it. They want more of it. They enjoy being able to walk around a corner and seeing something new before their eyes. So, you know, local government can either put their head in the sand, keep on being, you know, an old style approach, or throw everything on its head and challenge the way things are being done.
Sometimes the emptier it feels, like, and you're going off the target, like you're going away from the point of it. It's for people to live in and people to enjoy their lives, you know, we're only here for a certain amount of time, and we want to be around things that people have made and share experiences with people. Like, we're not meant to be living in a pristine, perfectly clean world. It's just not natural for us to be like that.
Como creo que la street art contribuye a la sociedad, y es fuerte, ¿no? Porque a veces puede tener un mensaje contestatario y ayudar a hacer la estética de una revolución.
I think it's just like a nice form of expression, I guess. Like, I have these ideas and sketches and things, and this is just the way that I present them, I think. And putting them in a public space is probably the ultimate forum for it. I just think being able to put it out there and have people comment on it.
Working out in front of people, like, you can see people's reactions to you working, and you actually see people talking about it, and you really feel like you're doing a positive thing. Well, I do anyway. I feel like I'm giving something, and people appreciate that, and the human connection with other people is amazing, and like, I have like a high for about a week after.
I do think that art is one way that we're able to release some of the things that we've got inside our heads, I think. I think we're pretty lucky to be able to do it. Other people do it with storytelling or poetry, but yeah, I think this is the way that I need to do it.
I just can't not create. It's like therapy for me. It's how I'm ridiculously analytical, and I don't know, I think it just helps me make sense of this existence we find ourselves in.
I guess you get like a feeling when you paint that you don't get from anything else. This feeling of creation, like, I don't know, when you have a wall that you can like transform something small into something big, it's just like, there's no better feeling.
I think it brings some life to a city for sure. I mean, if you didn't have anything, then you've just got just got concrete materials. So I think it just brings life and character.
Coś takiego, jesteśmy po prostu raczej kto jest na tym szczycie, tak? Ale to nie jest ważne, z jakiej miejscowości ktoś pochodzi, tylko co tworzy. Czy jest rozpoznawalny i czy ma coś do powiedzenia.
Sitting in the subway, feeling all my dismay, feeling that the best way to take it all out. Everybody wants it, everybody needs it, but I feel fine. I've been chasing words that I've never known. I'm falling down, I'm falling down. What I'd say to yourself, that you've been chasing dreams from bird's eye, chasing dreams from bird's eye, chasing dreams from bird's eye, chasing dreams from bird's eye view. Everybody knows that I can take it, oh, oh. Everybody thinks that I can make it, no. But I know I will make it not alone. I've been chasing words that I've never known. I'm falling down, I'm falling down. What I'd say to yourself, that you've been chasing dreams from bird's eye, chasing dreams from bird's eye, chasing dreams from bird's eye view. Chasing words that I never know. I'm falling down, I'm falling down. This time I've been chasing words that I never know. I'm falling down, I'm falling down.